fellow Ark players, and welcome back to another episode of the Dino Archives. I'm Havoc with the HGC YouTube gaming channel, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the Archaeopteryx. We're going to go over the spawn maps and where you can find them. We're going to talk about taming and breeding the Archaeopteryx. And then at the end, we're going to judge it on its overall usefulness compared to all the other dinosaurs in Ark. 1 being not very useful to 10 being extremely useful. So I hope you enjoy the video, and thank you so much for watching. The Archaeopteryx can be found on the island, the center, Ragnarok, and Scorched Earth. They are small creatures that kind of look like chickens, and they can be hard to spot, especially since they like hanging out in the redwood forests where there's a lot of foliage for them to hide in. They can also climb up trees, so the Archaeo is actually one of the more difficult animals to find in Ark. The Archaeopteryx's main ability is to pretty much act as a personal hang glider. While running on foot with an Archaeopteryx, you can actually jump pretty far by jumping off of small hills. The larger the hill or mountain you jump off, the further you can glide. You can steer it, but you can't make it descend faster. Also, the gliding speed will depend on your character's movement speed, not the Archaeopteryx's, so don't waste leveling points boosting your Archaeo's speed. Another thing to mention is that you can't use items while you're gliding, so you'll be pretty defenseless while you're floating around, and it's also the reason why I'm going to suggest not using the Archaeo in place of a parachute and grappling hook in most dungeon situations. If anything, doing so will probably get you and your Archaeo into more trouble than needed. If you have an Archaeo with you while you're flying around on a bird and you accidentally dismount, you can use the gliding ability to get back onto your flyer. So if you accidentally dismount your birds mid-flight frequently, the Archaeopteryx will help you out quite a bit. But of course, not accidentally dismounting would be preferable in the first place. Another thing they can do is collect sap from trees in the redwoods. You'll have to set up the Archaeo on Wander, and it will collect around 10 sap per hour. I wouldn't recommend using the Archaeopteryx to collect sap. It's just one more thing to worry about, and they're not that great at it. And having a steady supply of tree sap taps to collect from is going to be the best way for you to have a steady stream of sap. If you do want to use the Archaeo to collect sap, you may want to use a transponder node so you can actually find it when the time comes for you to collect the sap out of it. Archaeopteryxes can be really hard to spot, so you'll want to make sure to have everything ready to go in your inventory to tame it for when you do find the one that you want to tame. Since it can run off and disappear pretty easily, you'll want to bring some bullets to paralyze it while you're tranking it out. A long neck rifle is preferable because they don't have a lot of health and you can easily accidentally kill it if you're using a crossbow. Once you get it knocked out, you'll want to set up a small barricade around the Archaeo to protect it from taking damage. I like to use wood or metal spikes. Since Archaeopteryxes are usually found in pretty hostile areas like the redwoods, try to use metal spikes if you can. The Archaeos wake up quickly from being knocked out, so be sure to bring narcotics and keep a close eye on it. The Archaeopteryx will only eat 2 different things, Pelagornis kibble and chitin. Pelagornis kibble can be made with 1 Pelagornis egg, 1 citronal, 10 chitin, 2 mejoberry, 3 fiber, 1 water, and can be made in either a cooking pot or industrial cooker. If you don't have Pelagornis kibble, chitin will work really well too. It doesn't take long to tame an Archaeo with decent taming effectiveness, even if you are just using chitin. The hard part is just finding the damn thing. Oh, and another good thing to know is that you can actually pick up the Archaeopteryx with a Pteranodon or anything larger than that. So you could pick up a Archaeopteryx and bring it back to your own private taming pen. A male and female Archaeopteryx can be bred by putting them in a small enclosure and enabling them to wander. For small creatures like the Archaeo, I recommend breeding them in a wooden cage. Before getting too far with breeding though, make sure you have a lot of chitin to raise and feed the baby with. It won't take long for the female to lay a fertilized egg, which you will then need to incubate before it will hatch. If the egg is too hot or too cold, the egg won't incubate and will start to lose health. Don't worry about the health too much though, because it won't affect the breeding in any way. Just don't let it get to 0, otherwise it will die. You can use torches and campfires to raise the temperature of the egg, but air conditioners will work the best to raise or lower the temp of the egg. You'll need to be level 61 to unlock the engram for air conditioners, but it makes incubating just so easy. Once the egg hatches, imprint on the baby, then turn off its wandering in its radial menu, and then put chitin in its inventory. If you forget to put chitin in its inventory, it will starve to death quickly. Stay with the baby and keep putting chitin in its inventory until it can carry quite a bit. Then you can leave it alone for a while and not worry about it dying on you. Take a look at the baby's HUD and notice how much time is left until it wants care, and set an alarm. Once that timer reaches 0, you'll have another chance to imprint on it and give it another stat boost. It may want a random type of kibble, it could want to go for a walk, or it may just want to cuddle. If it wants a type of kibble that you don't have, you're out of luck and won't be able to imprint on it again until you can give it the type of kibble that it's asking for. Just cross your fingers and hope all it wants is to go for a walk or cuddle. If you do successfully imprint on it, set another timer for when it wants care again, and repeat until it's fully mature or imprinting hits 100%. The Archaeopteryx gets a disappointing 2 out of 10 on the overall usefulness scale. Its main ability is kind of cool and it's fun to use, but that being said, it's just really not a tame that is required for you to perform and advance effectively in the game. I'm sure you could maybe come up with some clever uses for it, but I personally couldn't. Out of all the ways you can spend time improving your situation on Ark, I would say finding and taming an Archaeopteryx would be pretty low on most players' lists of things to accomplish. So do you think 2 out of 10 is a reasonable rating for the Archaeo, or am I just being harsh? Please let me know in the comments section, and I hope to see you in the next Dino Archive, where we'll be going over the Archaeopteryx.